Chosen One, your life is upgrading after this. You must watch. This message is arriving at a precise moment, not to overwhelm you, but to clarify what has already begun shifting beneath the surface. An upgrade does not always announce itself with noise or instant change. Often, it starts internally, as a quiet reordering of priorities, perceptions, and boundaries. You may have felt restlessness without a clear reason, or a sense that old patterns no longer fit the way they once did. That is not confusion, it is transition. Chosen One, an upgrade means your system is preparing to operate at a higher level of alignment. What once drained you now feels unnecessary. What once felt impossible now feels negotiable. This is not about becoming someone else. It is about finally operating as who you already are, without friction. Before we go deeper, stay with this message until the end, because each part builds on the next. In the comments, write your warmest wishes and the number 144 as a signal of alignment and intention. Because this is a moment where wishes crystallize, and the universe responds to clarity rather than force. This is not about asking from lack, but about energizing what is already forming and allowing it to meet you in the right way. Now, Chosen One, press the hype button like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's start. Chosen One, this upgrade begins with awareness. You are no longer moving on autopilot. You notice how certain environments affect your energy. You recognize when conversations feel heavy rather than nourishing. You become aware of where you've been tolerating instead of choosing. This awareness is not meant to judge your past. It is meant to free your future. An upgrade always starts with seeing clearly what no longer belongs. You may notice that your patience changes. You are less willing to rush outcomes just to relieve discomfort. You begin to trust timing, not because you are passive, but because you understand the cost of forcing what is not ready. Chosen One, this is maturity. When urgency fades, discernment strengthens. You stop confusing speed with progress. This phase also affects your inner dialogue. The voice that once pushed you through fear begins to soften. You no longer motivate yourself through pressure or comparison. Instead, you move from intention. This shift is subtle, but powerful. When self-talk becomes supportive rather than demanding, consistency becomes possible. Chosen One, your standards are upgrading as well. You no longer accept half clarity, half commitment, or half presence from yourself or others. This is not arrogance. It is self-respect. An upgraded life does not require perfection, but it does require honesty. You stop negotiating with what drains you. You may feel moments of discomfort during this transition. That is natural. Growth often creates temporary instability before it creates strength. Do not misinterpret this as regression. Chosen One, when systems update, there is a brief pause while everything recalibrates. Allow it. Resistance slows upgrades. Acceptance integrates them. Your sense of identity also begins to shift. You are no longer defined by what you survived, what you lacked, or what delayed you. Those experiences informed you, but they do not limit you. Chosen One, the upgrade is not about erasing the past. It is about no longer living inside it. This phase encourages simplification. You begin letting go of unnecessary complexity in goals, habits, and expectations. You choose what works over what impresses. This clarity frees energy that was previously scattered. When energy consolidates, momentum builds naturally. Chosen One, pay attention to what feels lighter now. pay attention to what feels heavier. These sensations are guidance, not coincidence. Your system is learning to distinguish alignment from obligation. The more you listen, the smoother the upgrade becomes. This upgrade is not a single event. It is a process of refinement. Each choice you make from clarity strengthens it. Each boundary you honor stabilizes it. Each moment you trust yourself reinforces it. Chosen one, this is how lives change quietly, but permanently. Chosen one, as this upgrade continues, you may begin to notice that your relationship with effort is changing. You are no longer pushing yourself out of fear of falling behind. Instead, you move with intention. Effort becomes focused rather than scattered. This is one of the clearest signs that your life is operating at a higher level. Energy is no longer wasted on resistance. You may find that you no longer feel the need to explain every decision you make. The urge to justify yourself fades because your choices feel internally coherent. Chosen one, coherence builds confidence. When your actions align with your values, external approval loses its urgency. This phase also affects how you experience time. You stop feeling constantly rushed, even when life is full. You understand that presence creates efficiency. Multitasking gives way to attention. Chosen one, attention multiplies the quality of everything you touch. There is a strengthening of emotional regulation happening now. Situations that once triggered immediate reaction now invite pause. This pause is not hesitation. It is mastery. You create space between stimulus and response, and in that space, you reclaim control. An upgraded life is not reactive. It is responsive. You may notice that your intuition becomes clearer and more practical. It is no longer a vague feeling you question. It becomes a guide you trust. Chosen one, intuition sharpens when mental noise quiets. The upgrade clears static, so signal can come through. Your tolerance for misalignment continues to decrease. You no longer stay where energy feels heavy out of habit or obligation. This does not make you cold. It makes you honest. Chosen one, honesty reduces inner conflict. When conflict fades, peace expands. This phase also brings a redefinition of strength. Strength is no longer endurance at all costs. It becomes the ability to rest, reset, and choose again without guilt. You allow yourself to recover without seeing it as weakness. An upgraded system knows that sustainability matters. You may feel a quiet confidence emerging. Not loud, not performative, but steady. You trust yourself to handle what comes. This trust does not come from certainty about outcomes. It comes from confidence in your response. Chosen one, this is true resilience. Your priorities begin to reorder naturally. What once felt urgent loses its grip. What truly matters becomes clearer. You invest your energy where it nourishes rather than drains. This is not withdrawal from life. It is intentional engagement. As this part of the upgrade integrates, notice what no longer feels like a battle. Ease is not laziness, it is alignment. Chosen one, when life stops feeling like a constant struggle, growth becomes sustainable. Chosen one, as the upgrade deepens, you may begin to recognize a profound shift in how you relate to yourself. You no longer measure your worth by productivity alone. Rest no longer carries guilt. Progress is no longer something you chase. It is something you allow. This is a sign that your inner system is recalibrating to support longevity rather than burnout. You may notice that your thoughts become more constructive. Instead of spiraling into what-ifs, your mind moves toward what's next, with calm curiosity. This is not forced positivity. It is clarity replacing chaos. Chosen one, when the mind stops rehearsing fear, it frees energy for creativity and solution. This phase also affects your emotional honesty. You allow yourself to feel without dramatizing or suppressing. Emotions become information rather than obstacles. You no longer rush to label them as good or bad. You listen. An upgraded life does not avoid emotion. It integrates it. You may find that you are less attached to outcomes that once felt critical. Not because you stopped caring, but because you stopped gripping. Attachment loosens when trust strengthens. Chosen one, trust is the foundation of peace. When you trust timing, urgency dissolves. Your sense of identity continues to evolve. You no longer define yourself by roles that once kept you safe, but now feel limiting. You give yourself permission to outgrow expectations, including your own. This permission is powerful. It removes invisible ceilings. This phase also brings clarity around boundaries. You no longer see boundaries as walls. You see them as structure. Structure allows growth without collapse. Chosen one, boundaries protect energy so it can be invested wisely. You may notice that your communication becomes more direct and less emotionally charged. You speak from clarity rather than defense. This does not create distance. It creates understanding. When words are clean, conflict loses its fuel. There is also a subtle shift in how you experience success. You no longer chase moments of validation. You value consistency over applause. Chosen one, consistency builds a life that does not depend on external reaction. This part of the upgrade encourages patience with yourself. You stop expecting instant mastery. You allow learning curves without self-criticism. Growth becomes collaborative rather than confrontational. Notice how your body responds during this phase. Tension releases in small ways. Breath deepens. Sleep improves. These are not random changes. They are signs that alignment is settling in. Chosen one, this upgrade is not something you complete and move on from. It is something you live into. The more you honor it, the more natural it becomes. Chosen one, as the upgrade continues to stabilize, you may notice that your relationship with uncertainty transforms. What once felt threatening now feels navigable. You no longer interpret the unknown as danger, but as space to choose, adapt, and grow. This shift is subtle, yet it changes everything. An upgraded life does not require certainty. It requires self-trust. You may find that your reactions slow down in moments that once felt overwhelming. Instead of rushing to fix, explain, or control, you pause. This pause is not avoidance, it is awareness. Chosen one, awareness gives you options. Options restore power. This phase also reshapes how you relate to responsibility. You take responsibility for what belongs to you without absorbing what does not. You stop carrying emotional weight that was never yours to hold. This discernment lightens your load and sharpens your focus. You may notice a deeper respect for your own energy. You no longer treat it as infinite or expendable. You plan with sustainability in mind. Rest becomes strategic rather than reactive. Chosen one, energy management is one of the clearest markers of an upgraded life. Your sense of purpose becomes quieter and more grounded. You no longer feel the need to announce your direction. You walk it. Purpose expresses itself through consistency, not declarations. This grounded movement creates stability even when external conditions fluctuate. This phase also refines your relationship with effort. You stop confusing struggle with progress. You recognize when effort is aligned and when it is compensating. Chosen one, aligned effort produces results without exhaustion. You may feel a growing comfort with simplicity. Complexity loses its appeal when clarity is present. You choose what works over what impresses. This simplification creates space for what truly matters. Your emotional resilience strengthens. Setbacks no longer derail your sense of self. You recover faster because you do not personalize temporary disruption. Chosen one, resilience is not about avoiding difficulty. It is about returning to balance. This stage of the upgrade also encourages honesty with yourself. You acknowledge where you are without judgment and where you are going without fantasy. This realism grounds ambition in reality, making it achievable. As this part integrates, you may feel a deeper sense of calm in everyday moments, not because life is perfect, but because you are no longer at war with it. Chosen one, peace grows when resistance fades. Chosen one, this phase of the upgrade is about refinement in action. The shifts that once felt internal now begin to shape how you move through the world in visible ways. Your choices become cleaner. Your pacing becomes more intentional. You no longer overextend just to prove capacity. You operate from self-knowledge rather than expectation. You may notice that your confidence no longer needs reinforcement. It does not rise from praise or collapse under criticism. It remains steady because it is anchored in experience. Chosen one, confidence built this way allows you to stay open without becoming fragile. This stage also transforms how you relate to goals. You still aim forward, but you no longer sacrifice the present to reach the future. You integrate progress into daily life. Small, consistent actions replace dramatic pushes. This rhythm supports long-term growth. You may find that your tolerance for distraction decreases. What once pulled your attention now feels irrelevant. You protect focus without effort. Chosen one, focus is a form of respect for your time, your energy, and your direction. This phase encourages clarity and commitment. You say yes with intention and no without guilt. You stop agreeing out of obligation or fear of missing out. Boundaries become natural expressions of self-trust rather than defensive reactions. Your emotional intelligence continues to sharpen. You recognize patterns quickly and respond calmly. You no longer escalate situations to be heard. Your steadiness becomes your influence. Chosen one, calm presence often speaks louder than force. You may notice a shift in how you experience success. Instead of chasing peaks, you value continuity. You appreciate systems that support you rather than moments that exhaust you. This perspective creates sustainability. This part of the upgrade also deepens your relationship with self-respect. You honor your limits without apology. You acknowledge your strengths without exaggeration. This balance stabilizes your identity. As this phase integrates, daily life begins to feel less heavy. Not because challenges disappear, but because you are no longer carrying unnecessary weight. You choose response over reaction, clarity over chaos. Chosen one, refinement is not reduction. It is precision. You are not doing less because you have less to give. You are doing what matters because you finally know what does. Chosen one, this final phase of the upgrade is about embodiment and continuity. What once felt like a process you were moving through now becomes the way you live. You are no longer working on yourself in the same way. You are simply operating from a more aligned state. The upgrade is no longer something you think about. It is something you move from. You may notice that your inner dialogue is quieter. Not empty, but steady. The constant need to correct, push, or question yourself fades. In its place comes trust. Chosen one, trust simplifies life. When you trust yourself, decisions stop feeling heavy. This stage also brings acceptance without resignation. You accept where you are without giving up on where you are going. This balance removes internal conflict. When you stop fighting the present, energy becomes available for progress. You may feel more grounded in your body. Breathing deepens. Movements slow slightly, but become more deliberate. This embodiment is not accidental. Alignment always expresses itself physically. Chosen one, when the body feels safe, the mind follows. Your relationship with growth becomes non-dramatic. You no longer expect transformation to be intense or exhausting. Growth becomes subtle, consistent, and sustainable. You understand that lasting change integrates quietly. This phase also strengthens your sense of self-authority. You rely less on external confirmation and more on internal alignment. You know when something is right, without needing it to be validated. Chosen one, this authority is calm, not rigid. You may notice that your reactions to others soften. You no longer need to defend your choices or convince anyone of your direction. You allow differences without internal disturbance. This emotional independence creates peace. As the upgrade completes this cycle, you stop anticipating the next shift with urgency. You trust that evolution will continue naturally. You are no longer chasing the future. You are living in a way that invites it. Chosen one, this upgrade was never about becoming more. It was about becoming clearer, steadier, and more aligned with who you already are. From this place, life does not need to be forced. It unfolds. Chosen one, this continuation is about stabilization after embodiment. When alignment becomes familiar, life begins to test it gently. Not to take it away, but to confirm that it is real. You may notice small challenges appear, not as disruptions, but as invitations to respond from your new baseline. And you do, without drama, without collapse. This is how you know the upgrade has integrated. You no longer feel the urge to overcorrect yourself. When something doesn't go perfectly, you adjust instead of spiraling. This flexibility is strength. Chosen one, rigidity belonged to survival. Adaptability belongs to stability. Your awareness becomes more refined. You notice subtle signals earlier, shifts in energy, tone, or direction, and you respond before imbalance builds. This prevents unnecessary strain. An upgraded life is not about avoiding problems. It is about addressing them while they are still manageable. You may also recognize that your sense of identity feels less performative. You are not trying to be seen a certain way. You are simply being. This authenticity removes internal pressure. Chosen one, when you stop managing perception, you recover enormous energy. This phase encourages consistency without obsession. You maintain supportive habits without turning them into rules you must obey. Structure supports you, but it does not confine you. This balance allows growth to remain fluid rather than forced. You may find that your tolerance for emotional chaos continues to decline. Drama feels loud. Confusion feels unnecessary. You gravitate toward clarity naturally. Chosen one, peace is no longer something you seek. It is something you protect. Your relationship with effort continues to evolve. You work with focus, then rest fully. You no longer blur the line between the two. This separation restores energy faster and prevents burnout. Sustainability becomes instinctive. This stage also deepens trust in timing. You do not rush outcomes, nor do you delay action out of doubt. You move when it is time to move. Stillness and motion feel equally purposeful. Chosen one, this rhythm is a sign of true alignment. You may notice that your inner world feels less crowded. Old narratives lose relevance. Mental loops dissolve. Space opens for presence, curiosity, and enjoyment. This mental clarity supports creativity and long-term vision. As this phase settles, you stop questioning whether the upgrade was real. Your life feels different in practical ways. You respond differently. You choose differently. And that difference compounds. Chosen one, stabilization does not mean stagnation. It means your foundation is strong enough to support what comes next. And what comes next will meet you steady, prepared, and fully present. Chosen one, this phase is about expansion without strain. Because your foundation is now stable, growth no longer feels like a threat to balance. You allow yourself to consider bigger possibilities without anxiety. You do not rush toward them, but you no longer shrink away either. This openness is a natural result of feeling grounded. You may notice that your confidence expresses itself through calm decisiveness. You choose without overthinking. You trust your ability to adjust if needed. Chosen one, this confidence is not bravado. It is familiarity with your own capacity. This stage also refines how you relate to momentum. You stop chasing it and start maintaining it. Small, consistent actions feel more satisfying than dramatic bursts. This consistency protects energy and ensures continuity. An upgraded life values rhythm over spikes. You may feel a deeper appreciation for simplicity in your routines, relationships, and goals. Excess feels heavy now. You choose what supports clarity and let go of what complicates. Chosen one, simplicity is not limitation. It is refinement. Your relationship with uncertainty continues to soften. You do not need guarantees to move forward. You trust that clarity will meet you as you act. This trust reduces hesitation and increases flow. This phase also enhances your ability to listen, not only to others, but to yourself. You pick up on subtle internal cues and honor them before they turn into stress. This self-attunement prevents imbalance. You may notice that your emotional reactions are shorter-lived. You feel fully, then return to center more quickly. Recovery becomes faster because resistance is lower. Chosen one, emotional resilience grows through acceptance, not suppression. Your sense of purpose continues to mature. It feels less like a destination and more like a way of being. Purpose expresses itself through daily choices rather than grand declarations. This makes it sustainable. As this stage integrates, life feels less like something you must manage and more like something you participate in. You are present without being passive, active without being forceful. Chosen one, this expansion is not loud. It does not demand attention, but it is real, and it is lasting. You are growing in a way that supports who you are now, not who you once had to be. Chosen one, this phase is about deepening integration rather than moving forward for the sake of movement. At this point, the upgrade is no longer something you notice every day. It becomes the background stability of your life. You wake up with less inner resistance. You move through your day, PPE, with fewer internal negotiations. This quiet ease is not accidental. It is the result of alignment taking root. You may realize that your need for external reassurance has diminished. You are less dependent on signs, approval, or validation to feel secure in your direction. Chosen one, when trust is internalized, guidance becomes subtle but reliable. This stage also changes how you experience pressure. What once felt heavy now feels manageable. You distribute effort more evenly. You stop placing everything on yourself at once. This pacing prevents exhaustion and supports clarity. You may notice that your thoughts become more solution-oriented and less reactive. Instead of replaying problems, your mind moves naturally toward resolution. This does not mean challenges disappear. It means your response matures. Your emotional boundaries continue to strengthen. You empathize without absorbing. You care without carrying. Chosen one, this distinction protects your energy while preserving connection. This phase invites a deeper sense of presence. You are no longer constantly preparing for the next moment. You allow yourself to be where you are. This presence sharpens perception and reduces unnecessary tension. You may also feel a subtle increase in self-respect, not pride, but acknowledgement. You recognize the consistency it took to get here. You stop minimizing progress. This honest recognition reinforces stability. Your relationship with change becomes cooperative. You do not resist it, but you do not chase it either. You allow evolution to happen through alignment rather than disruption. Chosen one, this is sustainable growth. As this stage settles, you may notice that life feels less fragmented. Your inner world and outer actions align more naturally. This coherence reduces conflict and increases efficiency. Chosen one, this part of the upgrade is quiet, but it is foundational. What you are building now will support everything that comes next. Move forward with awareness, patience, and trust. Chosen one, this phase is about consolidation at the highest level. What has been integrating quietly now begins to define how you experience life as a whole. The upgrade is no longer something you reflect on. It is something that holds you steady in both ease and challenge. You are not bracing for disruption anymore. You are meeting life from a grounded center. You may notice that your sense of identity feels less effortful. You are not trying to be consistent. You simply are. This ease comes from internal alignment, not from control. Chosen one, when identity stabilizes, decision-making becomes lighter. This stage also refines your relationship with anticipation. You no longer live ahead of yourself. The habit of rehearsing outcomes, worrying in advance, or bracing for impact loses relevance. You meet situations as they arise. Presence replaces projection, and with it comes clarity. Your emotional responses continue to balance. You feel without being overwhelmed. You recover without suppression. This regulation is not numbness. It is resilience. Chosen one, resilience grows when the nervous system trusts safety. You may find that your patience deepens, not as endurance of discomfort, but as trust in process. You allow things to unfold without interference. This patience protects momentum and prevents unnecessary friction. This phase also sharpens discernment. You recognize what deserves your energy and what does not. You disengage from distractions without guilt. Chosen one, selective focus is a form of self-respect. Your relationship with effort becomes elegant. You apply pressure only where it creates movement. You release where resistance forms. This efficiency allows you to do more by forcing less. You may notice a calm authority in how you carry yourself. You do not need to assert it. Others sense it through your steadiness. This presence influences without demanding attention. As this phase integrates, you stop seeking confirmation that you are on track. The absence of internal friction becomes the confirmation. Life feels navigable, even when complex. Chosen one, consolidation does not mean completion. It means readiness. From this place, future growth will not destabilize you. It will build upon you. Chosen one, this phase is about quiet mastery. Not mastery over life, but mastery within yourself. You begin to recognize that stability is no longer something you maintain with effort. It maintains you. Even when circumstances fluctuate, your inner orientation remains steady. This is the result of alignment becoming internalized rather than practiced. You may notice that your reactions feel proportionate now. You are neither numb nor overwhelmed. You respond with accuracy. This accuracy saves energy. Chosen one, when responses match reality instead of fear, exhaustion fades. This stage also deepens your relationship with trust. Not blind trust in outcomes, but trust in your capacity to navigate whatever arises. You no longer fear being tested, because you know how to return to center. This confidence removes the need to control every detail. From this place of self-trust, life no longer needs to be tightly controlled, because you know you can meet whatever comes with clarity and balance.